Alright, episode 3 of our Chronicles of Drunagor, where we're going to be painting the Dwarf Warrior, or his name is Vorn. The writing on the cards kind of messed me up, because I couldn't differentiate between some of the letters and what they were supposed to be. So if it's not Vorn, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you want painted next from this series. I want to know what miniatures you want to know. Leave me a comment on what you want to see painted, and I'll put it on the list. If this is your first time at the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that little bell button so you get notified and you get to see all the new videos from this and everything we got coming up. All right, without further ado, let's go. Obviously, the first thing we're going to do, if you've been watching this channel, is we're going to prime and prep our miniature. Scrape off all those nasty mold lines. We're going to shoot it with some Mechanica Standard Gray spray paint, and then followed by a zenithal highlighting directly from above with some Corax white, or whatever you got. Once that highlighting is done, we're going to start with our skin, and that's only our face on this miniature, and it's going to be Bugmans Glow. If you get some on those eyebrows or in the eyes, no big deal. Make sure you also get the lips that are barely sticking out underneath the mustache and above the beard. For the hair, beard, and yeah, just that, we're going to be doing some Mournfang Brown. Now, when you're doing this, you also want to get the mustache and the eyebrows. And I'm using a size 1 brush. It's a Rosemary & Co. brush that I bought from their website, which I thoroughly enjoy. It's a very good brush. So I recommend them. And no, I'm not sponsored by them, even though I wish I was, but I'm not. So yeah, go hit those areas and just be careful. And if you get some on the skin, just go back over with some Bugmans Glow, no big deal. For the cape, we're going to use a little contrast paint. I just want to try this out. If you don't have this, you can use any blue you want that's comparable. It's Talassar Blue that we're going to be trying out. I really like the color of this blue, and with that zenithal highlighting, it really stands out a lot. For the purple, I don't know what this would be called. Undercoat, I guess you could say. We're going to use a little Naggaroth Night. Now, make sure you get the little portion that's on the right-hand side of our miniature if you're looking at it. For our red, I guess, cape that's sticking down, and that little side cape, and along with the pauldrons, the inside portion, we're going to use Mephitson Red. And when we're doing this, be obviously a little careful and just take your time while you're painting this area. For our little bags, our hands, or I guess our gloves, I guess you could say, and our boots, we're going to be using some Dryad Bark. As the camera's out of focus, we're going to use some Rhinox Hide on the belt and on our pants. For a vast majority of our metal bits, we're going to be using Leadbelcher. This is going to include the hammer, the outer portion of our axe, I guess it's an axe, and our chainmail that you can kind of see underneath the beard area. We're going to be using this. For our bag and some of the outlying portions of our gloves and pant areas, we're going to be using a little Steel Legion drab. For our axe handle and the little straps that are holding up on his right, or I guess if you're looking at it, his right hand, we're going to use Khrone Red. For the handle of our hammer, we're going to be using some Iron Warriors. For the inside of our axe, we're going to be using Balthasar Gold. Don't forget to do the backside as well. For a huge chunk of this miniature, we're going to be using Retributor Armour. And this is going to be the outlying areas around our pauldrons. There's going to be some detail work on our front of our pouch and from our little cape area. Also, we're going to be doing inside of the hammer and the, I guess you could say, metal rings, gold metal rings that are clasped around his front and back hair. The one that's in the ponytail and the one that's in the front. I'm also getting these little dots that are in the front of our cape area. For the top portion of our pauldrons, we're going to use Grey Knight Steel, and we're also going to use the same color that's on the chain mail that's on the back side. If you don't have this color, it's not a big deal. I just really enjoy this color because it's very bright silver, and it really looks like a polished silver once you highlight it up a little bit. We're going to go back to our Mephitson Red, and we're going to do this on the bottom portion of our cape and the circular orbs that are sticking out of our hammer. Also, the front portion of our miniature, where you're looking at it, there's two little red dots that are also gems if you're looking at the card art. And finally, we're going to use some Abaddon Black to kind of get those little cross-lace patterns on the hammer handle. We're going to start on our washes, and the first one we're going to do is our skin, which is Reikland Fleshshade. For the purple portion, we're going to use Druchi Violet. And for a vast majority of this miniature, we're going to use Agrax Earthshade. This is going to include all of our brown portion, the hair, pouches, and our handles. Also, don't forget the boots and the brown portion that's surrounding that. While you're letting this dry, after you're doing all of your wash, why don't you head over to our Instagram and check out nerd.nights so you can see everything we're coming up with and everything that's forthcoming. For all of our metal bits, we're going to use Nulin Oil, which can include the pauldrons on the top. Just be careful because we're going to use a different color here in a second on our gold. All of our red portions, we're going to use Carroburg Crimson. And finally, for all of our gold bits, Seaphim Sepia. Once all of our wash is completely dry, we're going to start using white and do the most difficult part of this miniature, which is going to be painting on the eyes. Do this very gently, where you just want to scrape that little portion of eyelid right there, and don't go too overboard with how much paint you have on your brush. Once that is complete, we're going to take some Abaddon Black or whatever black you have, and we're going to just daub in a nice little eyeball. If you get a little bit extra, as you'll see here at the end, it's not a big deal because we're going to do our face highlights next. For the first skin highlight, we're going to redo and reapplication of Bugmans Glow, and we want to basically go over this entire thing again. Keep it in the recesses, and I mean like around the nose, the mouth, and a little bit under the eyes. Also, do not forget the mouth that is barely sticking out underneath his mustache. We're now going to do a 50-50 mix of Cadian Fleshtone and Bugmans Glow, and we are going to just highlight up a vast majority of his skin, and we're going to do it decreasing how much we use in the next paint, in the next step. We're now going to use Cadian Fleshtone to start highlighting up even further, and we're getting the tip of the nose, our cheeks, and just our forehead, and obviously our mouth. And for our final skin tone highlight, Kislev Flesh, where we're doing just the bridge of the nose, a little bit on the cheeks, and just a little bit on the forehead, and just hit that mouth one more time. To highlight up our hair, we're going to use some Doombull Brown, and we're just picking out strands of hair, since you can kind of differentiate between the strands of hair and the hair itself. So just pick out strands and just make it that nice dark red brown. For our metal bits, we're going to be using Runefang Steel. We're going to be using this on the chainmail, the top of the pauldrons, edge highlighting our hammer, kind of doing a slight edge highlight / dry brush on our axe, and that's going to get that lettering that's out. I'm assuming it's Dwarvish or Elvish language. I'm not quite sure, but we're going to just kind of scrape those areas. So we're going to do basically all of our metal bits. So just follow along with what I'm doing and enjoy the paint. To highlight up our gold areas, we're going to be doing some Liberator Gold. For the red portion of our pauldrons and the front cape area, we're going to be using some Evil Sun Scarlet. Be careful while using this. You don't want to get anything on the gold, and it's very easy to get the edges of our gold. So just take your time. For the back of our cape, we're going to use some Hoeth Blue, and we're just going to scrape it. We're going to use an edge highlight, and we're just going to scrape those raised areas just to kind of give it a nice light blue color that blends in real well with the contrast paint that we used. If you ended up using a different blue that's similar to this, do the same exact thing I'm doing. For the two straps on his right hand, if you're looking at it, we're going to use Wazdakka Red. Xereus Purple, and we're just going to hit those diamonds individually. You don't want to get into the recesses at all. For the Dryad Bark portions that we use, we're going to use Gorthor Brown. So we're just going to highlight the fingers, the bags, the boots a little bit, just the front portion of it, and picking out some knuckles and some individual fingers, as if you would do that for a skin tone. For the inside of our axe, we're going to use Guinea-Hana's Gold. Brighten that up a little bit. And for our edging of our brown, we're going to use Baneblade Brown, just kind of make it a little bit lighter. We're going to paint a little half moon of Wild Rider Red inside of our front and back portion of our hammer, the red portion. And if you're looking at the card art, you can kind of tell that there's a differentiating color, and we're going to just do that real quick. We're then going to take a little dab of white and make a little dot or little line or something on the top of it. Then we're going to take some Art Coat, which is a technical paint from Citadel, to put on top of those gems. That's going to make it look like a gem. It's going to give it that nice hard looking color. We're also going to use this in the two front gems if you're looking at the miniature. Then we're going to paint our entire base with our Mechanicus Standard Gray. Be a little careful about those boots, so be very careful when you're going around them. Just get in there nice and deep black. And then we're going to do a Longbeard Grey dry brush after your gray is dry, and that's just going to bring the highlighting out. And then to finish that off, we're going to do a reapplication of Mechanicus Standard Gray around the rim of the base, and then we are done. Whew. And that's it, you did it. There was a lot of colors, a lot of stuff crammed into that miniature for the height it was, so there was a lot, but you did it, you made it, you did a great job. I'm very proud of you. And I want to see your miniatures, so send that to me on my Instagram at nerd.night so we can see what's going on. Let me know what you want to see me painted next on the comments below. If this is your first time with the channel and you're still watching, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because we got a lot more coming. But other than that, I appreciate you watching the video, and thank you for stopping by. Paint on.